Wild Spirit Wild Places is an organization that engages in conservation and education to protect the wildlands of Texas. The wildlands of Texas are diminishing. We're losing thousands of acres every year to development and fragmentation of the lands. This morning we are at the Baggett Family Ranch in Ozona, Texas, and it's been handed down from generation to generation. And the really wonderful thing about the Baggett family is they feel so strongly about keeping the land healthy and taking care of the land for generations to come. So the family is not only working to make sure that they can pass the family ranch down to children and grandchildren, but they're also making sure that what they share with the future generations is healthy and productive.
I've got 4 goals in life. My first goal is to keep this ranch intact, in the family, intact. It's been in our family since 1896. So that's my number 1 goal. My number 2 goal is conservation and improving the ranch. We have pushed a lot of brush on. In fact, we have pushed nearly all the brush on this ranch at one time. The problem is we weren't very good at the regrowth. So I have learned that it doesn't do you any good to make improvements if you don't keep those improvements up.
In addition to the conservation work for this family, Wild Spirit Wild Places has opened up the event to be an education event. So an event like this is an opportunity for us to connect people. It's an opportunity to build a community. When we come together and we have those conversations, we are able to connect with that person across from you and find that common ground, whether they're from West Texas or East Texas, or even out of state. You know, it's one thing to have an event and everybody has a great time, but it's an opportunity to have this event and everyone walk away and they keep talking about it and they keep teaching others.
There's not a single organization that I'm aware of that just takes it all on. And so having the ability of an organization such as Wild Spirit Wild Places that is able to and willing to just work with communities, work with individuals and say, hey, we may or may not be the boots on the ground, but we will help be the catalyst of that conservation effort and help get that work done is huge. You know, we all need that in all capacities. None of us can do it alone, and many hands make light work.
Wild Spirit Wild Places is potentially a bit of a guardian angel that swoops in and helps make those introductions, help make those connections, not just among these players, but with our mission and the public, who are really the ultimate beneficiaries of our efforts. Organizations like Wild Spirits Wild Places, those kinds of efforts are critically important because you have a lizard, fish, salamander geek like me. I'm not in public relations or anything like that, and it's great when we have people who have that experience, that skill set to direct some of their passion towards things that are mutually beneficial.
It's critical to have a community organizer. In everything that you do in a watershed, you have to have somebody who is the spearhead. The DRC is really the spearhead for the Devils, and to have Wild Spirit Wild Places taking on the upper watershed that is maybe a little less charismatic but still critical and expanding out to western Texas is very important. I'm glad they're doing it.
Ozona, Texas is mainly known for ranching and oil and gas and hunting, but hey, maybe this is something else that this region can be known for, and it's land stewardship training. And so it'd benefit the landowner and also provide a classroom, a research facility, if you will, for these organizations like Wild Spirit Wild Places that want to teach people how to get reconnected to the land and practice responsible land stewardship. We have the land out here for it.
We're going to go out and we're going to do a small prescribed burn. So we're going to get the folks out there and have them learn the proper techniques to light the fire, how to safely keep the fire within the perimeter, and hopefully learn about some after effects of the fire.
So the community for a certain conservation event like this is really important because without having the community here, one, people don't know about it. So you got to have people here to educate first off. And then aside from that, the more people you have at certain events like this that become educated and get, no pun intended, on fire for fire, they're more likely to speak with their neighbors and get them to understand the importance of it. And it spreads a little bit better the more community you have. And then also just networking and getting to meet folks and making relations can really go a long ways in this field.
We have multiple objectives we're working on achieving today. First and foremost is each and every one of your safety. Secondly is to conduct a prescribed burn to go along with this prescribed fire workshop. And thirdly, to work with Mr. Baggett and his management objectives for the ranch to use fire as a tool to thin out the brush and reinvigorate the grass and promote these warm season grasses coming back when Mother Nature starts giving us some rain.
Wild Spirits, Wild Places. I really appreciate what they're doing. It just makes me feel good. It just makes me think there is hope for all of this.
I'll wait till exactly what we're doing. Hold on.
You got to follow me. Follow the hard hat.
When'd you get in?
To take on the feet and hopefully get everyone to carry some torches, do some suppression, a little bit of everything.
I think it's so exciting.
Copy that. Team leaders, which one is closest to our staging area? Okay.
It's alright.
It's burning pretty good at Charlie, but Larry, it's not burning.
I really started to become equipped with the idea of what land ownership meant, what the responsibility was, and how to take care of it.
The undeveloped nature of this watershed is really what lends to its spectacular biodiversity and the pristine nature of the river.
Very much. Job well done. That was a flawless fire. Thank y'all. That was perfect.